There's an AD on Piper rudders, all fabric rudders, AD, I believe it's 250211, and it requires replacing the rudder if the leading edge or the spar is made of 2025 steel, I believe it is, but not 4130. There's an alternative method of compliance where you install a piece of 4130 tubing of the right diameter, 3/4 of an inch, 0.750, 49 thousandths wall thickness up the leading edge of the rudder, which is the main spar. I've already complied with the AD on one rudder that I was partially covering, and you can see the rosette welds here. And I'm going to show you how I do that on another J3 rudder. Now, the tools of the trade. I modified a shotgun cleaning rod by adding an extension with the wire brush. You got to wire brush the inside of the tube. You got to inspect for rust. I have a borescope here, which is almost long enough. And then you add boiled linseed oil to the tube and thoroughly saturate it. I'll show you that later. And there's a piece of 4130 tubing ready to install. Now, the other thing I did is I modified a reamer, an adjustable reamer, and some extensions, 3/8 drive extensions, and added it to a rattle gun. So there's my reamer there. So I'll clean all the weld nibs inside the spar. If I had a fancy camera, I could do this professionally, but I use my iPhone. So, I gotta admit, I've run this through and I've already done the preliminary reaming, but all reamed, cleaned out, ready to be inspected with the borescope. It looks pretty good. Okay, I'm about ready to insert the 4130 tubing. What you have to do is drill holes 1/4 inch in diameter for the rosette welds, and they're 3/16 if you're going to bolt it on. The bottom of the rudder, you come up 6.5 inches, and at the top of the rudder, you come down 6 inches. So I use plumber's cloth to clean off the powder-coated, chem-proof epoxy that I put on it. And then on the 4130 tubing, I use plumber's cloth to clean off the area to get the oil finish and varnish off for where the rosette weld will be. So it's ready to be inserted in the rudder. All right, the tube has been fit checked, fits nicely. And the 4130 tubing is supposed to be inserted to approximately here. So halfway up the knurled end. Now it's ready for the rosette welds. So as we age gracefully, it gets tougher to see what you're welding. So I use a magnifying shield and also use like a 3-power reading glass. My vision isn't that bad, but when you're TIG welding, it's important to be able to see clearly the puddle. I use about a 60-year-old scratch start Miller machine, and I got the amperage set at about 40. Let's look at the finished product. Not bad. That should work. Well, there we go. All I have left to do is put the boiled linseed oil up the tube and drain it out. I think I'll hang it with a cup under it for a week, and then paint the welded areas. So that Amoc, I started at 9, it's about 11, and if I wasn't videoing it, I could have done the whole thing in probably an hour. And that's once the tooling was made. So, if you're doing a covered airplane, you just bolt it, and then you don't have to do the rosette welds, and it's actually even quicker and simpler. But then you have bolt heads showing, AN3s. So, hope that helped. Pete Smith, Central Montana, over and out.